Streaming, just because I think we're good to go here. Alright, I think we're good to go. Okay. I tell everyone we're out here streaming. Maybe 5 minutes late, but it's okay. At our normal time.
Not bad, considering.
Considering there's traffic everywhere.
Right.
Oh, traffic. Why is it like summer?
Oh, summer. School kids.
Oh, summer traffic.
School.
Literally, my news feed is filled with nothing but Sony for like 10 straight video articles, and we're going to make it 11 in a minute here.
Yikes.
Literally, that's everything anyone's talking about. And we're going to break that down.
There's only so many movie studios you can't talk about anymore.
Well, I mean, one literally ate the other.
Right. We're getting to that point.
And then Disney bought Fox.
Yes.
Of course, I brought the Viacom-CBS merger we were talking about last week.
Yes.
Sony.
Sure.
Or, no, sorry. Sony, and Sony. Sony. Sony.
It's so neat.
It's so neat. It's
so Raven.
So 2000. It is so... You're right, it is so Raven. It's also so time to start. Alright, you have fun with that. Ready?
I will have so much
we're going to have to leave that on, right?
I mean, if you don't want to burn up, we're gonna
I'm going to burn up, and either way.
So, we'll just have to talk loud.
Alright.
Not loud.
Ignore the hum.
Alright, okay.
Alright, ignore the hum.
Ignore the hum. It's the Media Boat Podcast, your source for humming, but also for news about movies, television, video games, and music. Not necessarily in that order, but in some order thereof.
It's there.
Yeah, today is August 21st, 2019. It is the dog days of summer, everybody.
Oh, you can tell because we are sweating like a dog.
Yes.
And feeding the dog, and with our yo-yos, we are walking the dog.
Maybe. Episode 189 of the Media Boat Podcast today. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. Normally we like to draw this out, but...
We got a lot of stuff to get
There is Sony everywhere around us. If you have not been on the internet, congratulations. 2, Sony is everywhere in your news feed and the Twitter sphere and literally everywhere. Everyone is talking about Sony for different reasons. And we'll get to all of those reasons.
So let's get to it. First of all, is we start with movies, and we always start movies with the weekend box office numbers. And wow, what a surprise.
Alright, so we kind of miscalled this.
Oh, I think everybody probably did, because everybody underestimated the good boys.
Yes.
Those good boys.
You got some good boys?
Yeah, these are the good boys.
Okay, so yes, Seth Rogen produced Good Boys, being bad boys, but they're good boys.
I've heard this movie described as super bad, but with tweens.
That doesn't make it even any better.
No. But apparently it made people see it to the tune of $21 million, making it number one this week.
It was a $20 million production, so hey, that will make a profit, probably?
Yeah,
eventually. We will definitely get into what makes a profit and what doesn't eventually.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
But yeah, that beat Hobbs & Shaw entering its second week this week at number 2, dropping down from 1, with another $14 million. That's at $133 million domestic right now.
Ew.
Yeah, not great for
that's
a
not
fast
great.
movie, but okay for a summer movie.
No, that's not good considering it was $200 million to make.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's a flop.
Well, budget-wise, yes. Number 3, The Lion King is still chugging along, $12 million to add to its 496 total domestic. So that will cross 500 domestic.
Yes, that's 500 domestic. The only movie to beat it so far this year is, of course, Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
The number 1 movie of all time now.
Yes.
So it makes sense. Number 4, The Angry Birds Movie 2 debuted to a measly $10 million, despite extremely strong reviews.
Oh, so this is what we were talking about.
I called this in a way, not that it wasn't, like, Not that it would.
You
be
kind of called it being number one, but
I
you
called
did
it
say
being a surprise critical hit.
Yeah.
Because reviews of this thing are surprisingly positive.
Right. Well, we did know last time when Angry Birds came out that we enjoyed it, but it was still an Angry Birds movie.
People saying that this is better than the first. So
hi guys, we have viewers.
Hey, we have a viewer.
Hey, we have viewers. Hi guys.
And then number 5, wrapping up the top 5 this week. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark made another $10 million. That thing's sitting at $40 million domestic. A reasonable hit, probably considering it's low budget.
Yeah, it's a low budget horror hit.
Typical horror hit during the summer. Probably smart time to release it.
Yeah.
Made okay money. And those are your top 5 movies. If you're wondering about some leftovers, some other movies.
There were other movies that came out this past weekend.
Yeah, some other movies. We were way wrong about 47 Meters Down Uncaged, the sequel to 47 Meters Down. Only earned $8 million and clocked in at number 7.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be number 1, remember?
It was not.
Oh, were we wrong?
Not. Number 10, down at number 10, Blinded by the Light, which I understand you have seen.
Yes.
Came in $4 million. And then right underneath it, the other debut from last week, Where'd You Go, Bernadette, earning $3 million. Yikes.
Yeah, but that's an independent film,
so it wasn't gonna make
based off a book,
anyway.
so assumption it wasn't going to make any money.
If you've seen any of these movies and that we haven't talked about and you want to say something about them, please email us, mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. I'm just trying to get in more plugs for people to engage with the show.
Yes.
Tell us about stuff that we missed. Tell us if there's something out there that we should see, and maybe we'll check that out for you. Anyway, let's move on to the new releases for this weekend.
All right, what am I seeing this weekend?
I don't know what you're seeing, but here are the new releases in theaters. Ready or Not.
Here I Come.
What is Ready or Not?
Hide and Seek.
No, that's a different movie.
No, it's literally hide and seek.
No. Oh, is this movie about hide and seek?
No, this movie is about a bride who gets married into a...
Tag?
Yeah, it's about a bride who gets married into a family.
Okay.
And then, like, the day of their wedding, or day after the wedding, everyone's at the family's estate. But it's all a murder hunt as they try and kill the bride.
Whoa. What?
Supposedly it's gotten good reviews.
Here. Okay, well, Ready or Not in theaters this weekend.
Yeah, Ready or Not, here it comes.
Next up, Angel Has Fallen, your big action
This is your
film.
threequel.
Yeah.
In the vein of Olympus Has Fallen,
Yes.
and London Has Fallen.
Right.
Well, now
Something
Angel
else.
has fallen.
What is Angel being referred to there?
Angel is being referred to the code name of Gerard Butler's character,
Got it, okay. And then lastly...
who
this
is still
weekend-
protecting Morgan Freeman as the president.
I figured, yeah. And then lastly this weekend, Overcomer. This is about someone who, I don't know, overcomes?
Yes, this is a religious movie, I want to say.
Okay.
It's high school track and field cross country, co-starring
Well, I get it.
Anna...
Overcomer, okay.
Co-starring Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick.
She's in the film.
Okay. Alright.
Don't expect that to be...
Don't expect that to chart.
Yeah.
That is your new releases, which means that we are done with that section of the show, which means we can move on to something you've seen. Tell me about Blinded by the Light. Were you indeed blinded by the light?
So, I'm going to talk about Blinded by the Light.
You didn't answer my question.
Well, no, it was a darkened theater, so the light actually helped.
Okay. So it's the opposite.
Yes.
If there was an opposite of Blinded by the Light, that's what you were.
Yes, I was
Given sight.
And it was not blinding.
Okay.
I was not blinded by it.
Good. Okay, so recap what this is. This is Bruce Springsteen related?
Blinded by the Light is based off of Bruce Springsteen's songs from his first 3 albums. Do you want to call them albums? Because they're on cassettes,
Sure.
so albums?
Oh, come on. They were albums. they weren't just on cassettes.
I know.
Is this like...
Records.
When you say based on the songs, is this a across the universe scenario?
No, this is based on a true story scenario. It's about a...
What?
What do you mean? What?
I'm confused. Okay, what I'm asking is this a song that movie that has the Bruce Springsteen songs in it? Or is this a story about Bruce Springsteen?
Neither.
What?
Well, yes, it's a story that has Bruce Springsteen songs in it,
Okay.
but they only sing, I think, 2 of them in
Got
a
it.
large musical number.
Okay, it's not
Yes.
necessarily a musical. It's just
No.
inspired by his music.
Yes, and that's actually a good segue because that's what this movie is about: being inspired by music, being inspired by lyrics, and overcoming your own life, and how music can be that one thing to break free of that, to be able to express yourself. The director of this film also directed Bend It Like Beckham.
Ah.
And she's been trying to get this film made for the past 10 years. Well, she finally did it, and I enjoyed it. I liked its message. I liked the fact that even though it's about Bruce Springsteen, it wasn't set in the U.S. Even though it was about, or the songs, it was Bruce Springsteen was the main driving factor of it. The main character was Pakistani, wasn't white, came from a completely different background, and basically was anything but what you would think of someone who listens to Bruce Springsteen's music. And yet, throughout the film, I understood the whole message about music transcending not just it being either American music or being music for certain type of people. It's just music that influences people, music that touches you, that music that goes beyond borders, that touches, that makes you feel something in your soul, that drives people to succeed, to do something with their life, than being stuck in a rut.
Seems heady.
It is very heavy, but it's also very light. The themes are very heavy, but the way it goes about it, the songs that they choose, the whole aesthetics, the whole theme of it, is very light, because the whole A plot is about the family. Bruce Springsteen's really the B plot, and then there's a C plot about racial tensions in London in the 80s.
Racial tensions or Rachel tensions? Like tensions about someone named Rachel.
There is no one named Rachel,
Okay.
I believe. But no, racial tensions,
Got it.
as during Britain in the late 80s.
Britain.
During Britain's late 80s period with Margaret Thatcher, they had the whole NF scenario, which, oddly enough, we're kind of experiencing in our time right now. Even though that was 30 years ago, don't know how well that was played into it, but it was definitely a theme played on throughout the film that worked well with Bruce Springsteen's music, and just shows that his lyrics are timeless. His lyrics can reach generational gaps. Anyone going through anything can find something in music. Not necessarily just Bruce Springsteen's music, but music in general, in media in general, to find something to basically want more out of life. It's a really good movie that hits on these themes, but it's not really a movie that most people would go and seek out.
Well, yeah,
which is why
it's not being advertised at all. I've heard nothing about it except from you.
I've only been seeing it advertised as Bruce Springsteen's music. Also, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty high rating then.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
On the
So on the scale, you
on
said
our
it's a
Petnet
C?
scale, I would stream it, actually.
Oh, okay.
As good as I'm saying that this movie is, it doesn't necessarily give me that I need to see this in a theater experience.
It's not necessary for the experience.
No, they did a lot of good stuff with camera techniques, good stuff with projections, a little good stuff with 80s decor and staging and set direction. But nothing in the film is like, you have to go out there and see it because of this.
Yeah.
If you love Bruce Springsteen music, this movie's for you. If you love family drama, this movie's for you.
I love family. No, that's not true. Anyway.
Anyways, it's a good film. It's a good film. I don't think it's necessarily for everyone. I had 2 older ladies sitting next to me talking throughout the whole film all the time.
That's how they engage with that, I Right.
They're like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, we were doing that. It's like, yeah, and then that was that. It's like, oh, look, it's Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, I love this song. It's like, movie, hello.
Trying to watch this movie.
Trying to watch a movie here.
Don't mind me. Well, okay.
But that didn't hinder my experience. I still enjoyed the film.
Okay. Did you see anything else before we move on to movie news?
No.
All right.
There's just a lot of themes for that film, though. Like family dynamics, finding your voice, finding out who you are, coming of age. It has a lot of themes going, and you know how I like my layers. It's got a lot of layers in the film, and I know I'm kind of keep going on and on this, but
no, it's okay. You sold one person. I have a fan, a viewer here.
I love my layers.
Watching right now that says that now she's interested and she wants to see it. So
yeah,
there you go.
It's really good. It's really well done, and makes me kind of want to see more from her, the director.
Great. Okay, let's move on then. We have a bunch of movie news to talk about, so let's get rolling right into it.
All right, so the big news. Well, we'll get to the big news, but
yeah, we'll get
this
to that
weekend,
later,
this week of news was dominated by Sony.
Yeah, Sony had a big week. Sony Pictures had a big week elsewhere in the corporate world we'll get to later. But first thing first, we have finally, at long last, have a name for the 25th James Bond picture.
Can we stop calling it Bond 25?
Finally, thank God, stop referring to it as Bond 25.
Alright, so, is it anything like Skyfall?
I think it's better than Skyfall. This is a James Bond-ass James Bond title.
Okay, so what is the title of this James Bond-ass James Bond title?
No Time to Die.
Thank you, Mr. Bond.
No Time to Die.
No Time
which I
to
think
Die.
is great. I mean,
that is a pretty Bond name.
It fits in the lineage pretty well. I mean, you have several other Bond films that also use "die" in the title.
Yes.
Like
Live Free or Die Hard.
Day. That's not a Bond movie.
I know. Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
You Only Live Twice.
Well, yes, that has to do with death, correct?
Yes. Tomorrow Never Ends.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Never Dies. Quantum of Solace.
It's not Tomorrow Never Ends. You don't know these. Never mind. Let's move on. Clearly. Okay, so
clearly,
yes,
I am a
25,
Bond aficionado.
Apparently. Bond 25 now has the title No Time to Die. Will hit theaters on April 8th. It will be directed by Cary Fukunaga. Wow, I messed that up. Fukunaga, who was the director of Beasts of No Nation and Maniac. And we'll see Daniel Craig once again as James Bond, who comes out of retirement to rescue a kidnapped scientist that leads him on the trail of a mysterious villain played by Rami Malek.
Hey, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
I mean, hey, Mr. Robot.
All of the above.
I mean, hey, guy from Venom.
Hey, guy from Venom.
Yes, the Doctor also really enjoyed Blinded by the Light.
Good to know.
Yes.
More support there.
So that's two people who really enjoyed it.
Or potentially me. But yeah, so how do you feel about Bond? Are you ready for another Bond movie?
Supposedly this will be Daniel Craig's last role as James Bond.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
We said that last time.
We've been saying that since Skyfall.
Like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Wait, there was one after Skyfall, wasn't there?
No. Yes?
Yes, there was.
What the hell was that movie called?
Wasn't there one after Skyfall? Yes, because there was it was oh god.
It's
Spectre.
Spectre, thank you.
Yes.
I did not see it.
So. Clearly a forgettable movie.
Apparently you didn't either.
No, I saw it. But it's just that Skyfall had the way better opening with Adele song.
That Adele song.
Yeah.
All right.
Not the Sam Mendes.
But that's not the only
Spectre
announcement that Sony Pictures made this week. No.
What else did Sony Pictures make?
Here's another Sony Pictures hit for you. They're planning a sequel to the breakout hit Searching, starring John Cho, which was bought at Sundance for $5 million and then went on to gross $75 million worldwide.
I'd say that's a profit.
I'd say. A new plot and cast will be set for the sequel, with the original creative team returning to produce.
This was the John Cho solo, basically solo starring film, as the whole thing was shot from a computer's perspective as live streamed perspective. Everything was like digital.
Right, yeah.
Watching it on the screen.
It was all on the TV, on the computer screen.
On the computer screen.
I was listening to a podcast just today where somebody was saying that they watched it and thought it was very good. So.
Yes, was that our podcast from a year ago?
It wasn't, but yes. No. A viewer is saying that they just are waiting for Idris Elba James Bond.
Oh, sorry. He's too street. That's sorry. We can stop using that.
You can stop saying
I can stop saying that. That was a part of the Sony leak that came out 4 years ago.
No, I still hope that could happen someday, but not as long as Daniel Craig keeps begrudgingly joining the project.
Yeah, but would you rather have a younger Bond who can fulfill that role for a long time?
No. No, I would not.
No, you just want.
I would not rather.
You just want old James Bond?
Yes. Give me Idris Elba because he can still do it.
See, because I would go on with John Boyega.
John Boyega is not a bad pick either, actually.
Because he can actually be in that role for a good 10 years.
He could. He 100% could. Right. He's got a big franchise on his hands already. Wait until that's over. Next year.
Yeah. I believe he's in the middle of wrapping that up.
Almost done with that.
Yes.
All right. And then, of course, in other news, Spider-Man Far From Home is now Sony's highest-grossing film ever, beating out the aforementioned Skyfall.
Yes.
This has left Sony feeling pretty invincible with Spider-Man, which, of course, brings us to our big story.
Yes. Spider-Man Far From Home crossed $1.2 billion.
That's a B.
Yes, meaning that Sony now has officially one film that crossed the $1 billion mark.
It's just one.
Yes.
So far.
Compare that with Disney, who made 5 movies in the $1 billion mark.
Our viewer also suggests Sterling K. Brown.
But he's American.
So?
We need to have a British.
Yeah, I guess.
British James Bond. I mean, we already gave up British Spider-Man. Twice.
That's true.
And he's super American.
It's a trade. We get a
Yes. For those of you who don't know, both
Spider-Man
Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are super British.
Oh, I knew that.
I know, most people don't.
All right. Well, let's then now finally talk about the big story this week, which I really don't want to talk about.
So, Marvel, you
thing
said.
that happened this week. So
you
yeah,
said
Spider-Man.
Marvel.
About Spider-Man. If you have been on the internet for longer than 5 minutes this week, you will know that in shocking news,
well, since yesterday, technically,
Spider-Man, the current character in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe, may not be in that universe for too much longer.
Tom Holland is being taken back to his angry stepdad? Stepdad. The angry stepdad.
Yeah.
That is Sony, and saying you can no longer hang out with Disney mom and stepdad Kevin Feige.
Right, no. Okay, so here's what happened. Basically, after taking in $1.1 billion, as we just said, in the box office, Kevin Feige won't be serving as producer on any further Spider-Man film because of an inability by Disney and Sony Pictures to reach new terms that would have given Disney a co-financing stake going forward for future films. You yourself mentioned this in the aftermath of Far From Home.
Yes.
You said that depending on how successful this would give Disney leverage when deciding terms on future Spider-Man movies.
Right, as I mentioned, I think last week or the week before, when Far From Home finally hit the $1 billion mark, or was like $100 million away from it was creeping up, that, according to sources, the original contract was set for 5 films of Spider-Man. And we got 5 films of Spider-Man. Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, and Far From Home. Now, there is rumored to be a conditional 6th film should one of the 2 solo Spider-Man films hit $1 billion. That's a rumor. That was never confirmed. That's just a rumor.
And apparently, that wasn't the case because these talks broke down, and that didn't happen.
Yes. So the contract was: we hit 5 films, we renegotiate. If you hit $1 billion, maybe we'll get the 6th one.
Yeah.
Under the same terms of the contract.
Well, doesn't look like it. At least as things are going right now. So
Who messed up where?
So we'll find out. But yeah, so Tom Holland's Spider-Man has been, as you said, in 5 MCU films to date, with another 2 films in the works, with John Watts possibly returning to direct. But none of that's been signed. No deals have actually been confirmed.
Tom Holland has been signed. John Watts has not been signed.
But looking like this won't happen anyway, so it won't matter who's signed.
Right.
The deal came to a standoff with Disney asking that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financing agreement, with talks of the deal extending to other films in the Spider-Man universe. Sony turned that offer down. Came back with an extension, though, of the current deal, where Disney receives 5% of the first dollar gross.
That is 5% of opening weekend.
Correct.
People have been getting this wrong. It's not $5. It's not 5% of the total gross. It's 5% of opening weekend.
Disney has tasked Feige with developing the X-Men and Fantastic Four into the MCU. The other, formerly Sony-owned.
Nope.
Right? No, the Fox.
The former Fox stuff.
And would rather put their time there instead of Spider-Man, where they wouldn't see as much of a profit.
Yes.
They would rather make things in-house that they guaranteed $1 billion
that they can guarantee we're going to keep all money instead of splitting.
So really, this is a classic example of studio hubris, and on both sides. Sony doesn't want to give away their $1 billion baby. They finally made $1 billion. They're like, no, we're not going to go halvesies with Disney just because they make better movies than we do with these characters. No, we're going to hog it all to ourselves, bring a presumably new Spider-Man into the Venomverse that they're setting up right now, and then own all the profits themselves. But with the gamble, of course, being, will those movies be any good, and will anybody care? The Disney side of things would rather focus on characters that people love that aren't Spider-Man, where, like you said, they're guaranteed to hog all the money.
I think I've the rest of Sony's quote there, right?
Yeah. So you have the quote here.
So Sony came out and made a statement.
Yes.
Late last night, came out and made a Twitter statement that kind of muddied the waters a bit, or at least in my perspective.
Yeah. So Sony said their official response was, "We are disappointed, but we respect Disney's decision not to have him continue as a lead producer, Feige being the him here.
Yep.
Have him continue as a lead producer of our next live-action Spider-Man film." Later on, they say, "Disney has given Feige many new responsibilities that do not allow time for him to work on IP they do now own."
They do not own.
You have this typo there. Then.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so Sony's being a little feisty there.
This is Sony basically throwing shade at Disney, saying, well, you don't own Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You will never own Spider-Man.
Just waving it in their face.
Yeah, it's like, here's Spider-Man. You will never have him. He is ours. As long as they make a Spider-Man film every 3 years, a Spider-Man-esque film, every 3 years, those movie rights will remain at Sony. Doesn't matter if they're good, box office release, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as they make them, they still retain the rights.
So overall, I think that the both studios have their best interests in minds in this decision. And really the people who get hurt are the fans of the Disney MCU. Like, those are the people getting hurt here. But neither studio really cares, because Disney knows that the fans are going to return even if they never see Spider-Man again. Well, they're not going to go away. You're not going to see a boycott of the next Marvel movie just because the fans are upset about Spider-Man. No, this is going to be over. No,
so here's where things get interesting. This is all the excess backstory to the story.
Right.
That I, did unhealthy amount of research on.
Emphasis on the unhealthy.
Okay, so, first point. The guy who leaked this story from Hollywood Deadline from Deadline Hollywood Deadline, is Sony's direct PR person that they go to for leaks.
Okay.
So, despite all the rumors out there that this is Disney putting it out, this is most likely Sony putting it out to show how greedy Disney is, saying, hey, Disney's asking for 50%.
Yeah.
So look how greedy they are. Plus, they get all of the merchandising rights, and they have the TV rights, and music rights, and everything.
Yeah.
All the rights except for film. Isn't Disney
and video
being
games, but that doesn't count.
Isn't Disney being
Talk about
greedy?
that later.
Isn't Disney being greedy here, asking for 50%? And
I think the answer to that is complicated. The easy answer is yes, because they're a greedy corporation. The more complicated answer is that, like, they probably think that they have the leverage just based on the success of the ones they make.
Their leverage is Spider-Man Homecoming is, or when it came out and was done, the second highest grossing Spider-Man film ever. And now they made Spider-Man Far From Home, which is Sony's highest grossing film ever.
Yeah.
Highest grossing Spider-Man ever. They know how to make hits. They know how to make Spider-Man work.
I could imagine that boardroom, the Disney people just reiterating, like, you can't make one like we can.
It's like here's your stacks of money that you've made. Here's the stacks of money we made.
All they have to do is point at Venom. All they have to do is say, look at Venom. This thing did not perform even close to our MCU movies.
Yes. But I'm glad you brought up Venom. Mm-hmm. Because even though it only made $800 million worldwide.
Still not bad.
It was still a profit for Sony. Seeing as that film was made for $100 million. So, assume that $800 million, industry standard, everything gets split between theaters and distribution. So Sony gets $400 million. Take out the $150 million for production costs, plus an additional $50 million for marketing. You're still left out of that $400 with $300 million, roughly. I know I messed that up. $250, $300 million.
Sure.
Now, would you rather have that $300 million or have to split that in half?
Right.
And take only $150 million? That's where it is, because ultimately this is a business. As much as we keep, like, one of our pull string phrases on this podcast is,
yours.
One of mine, is it's a business.
Right.
And with Sony saying that, hey, why would we risk making $100 million when we can still make $300 million?
Yeah. It's what I was saying earlier. Ultimately, these are two studios realizing that there's better ways of making money themselves. That they do not. That this partnership is not required. Is not going to be something going forward that they need to make money.
Well, Sony needed to get a Spider-Man reboot done right.
Yeah.
Which is why...
In the previous deal. What I'm saying is, going forward, they now know...
Right, that's why they made the deal.
They don't need it like they did.
Right. Yeah, going forward now, they have an established Spider-Man in Tom Holland. They have an established anti-hero in Tom Hardy and Venom.
And also apparently a big major plot point at the end of Far From Home that now will mean literally nothing.
Oh, see? I have already figured that out.
Okay, you have.
Yes. So, spoiler alert here. At the end of Far From Home, the secret is revealed that Peter Parker...
Okay, real quick. If you do not want Far From Home spoilers, if you have not seen it yet, fast forward 5 minutes in the show.
It's been about 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's been about 5 minutes.
All right, come back later.
All right.
Anyway, spoiler.
All right, so spoiler. At the very end of Spider-Man Far From Home, in the post-credits sequence, it is revealed that Mysterio makes a video, and Daily Bugle posted online, that reveals Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Now, here's how you get around that. You take it from there, you pick it from there, that, oh my god, everyone knows I'm Peter Parker. What am I going to do? You literally move 3,000 miles across the country to San Francisco, where who else is there? But Eddie Brock and Venom. And you have...
You unite those universes.
Unite those universes there with Spider-Man swinging from the Golden Gate Bridge.
I mean, yes. They probably will... You're probably right, because that's probably what they will do. It's stupid.
Oh, it's stupid.
But that they won't have really an option.
The other thing you do is that you just set it in L.A. It's still tall buildings, right?
Yeah.
It's still tall buildings.
Okay.
It's still a city.
So, to kind of wrap this up, because we can't talk about this forever.
Oh, we can't talk about this forever.
Yeah, but to kind of wrap this up, I have one question.
Answer.
Do you think that it is possible that enough outrage happens that they renegotiate?
I think that Sony screwed up the negotiation.
Uh-huh.
When you come to the negotiating table, you always ask for more than you expect to receive.
Right.
So
Disney
when
did.
and
Sony
Disney
didn't.
did. They asked for 50%,
Yeah.
which, if you ask for any more, clearly you're basically owning it at that point.
Right, yeah, no.
So
they
you
knew they couldn't.
So they knew they couldn't.
That was the highest deal they could.
That's literally the ceiling. So you come to a negotiation saying, I want the highest possible, and we'll work down from there.
Right.
So they said 50%. Sony basically got up and left and said no to the deal and didn't come back with a counter offer.
But, like I said,
instead
the question
go straight to the
is,
press.
do you think that the outrage, because I know there will be outrage because people are
There
idiots.
is already outrage.
Yeah, because one's already started and two, because people are idiots. Do you think that that'll be enough?
Yes, because Disney has already employed a social media tactic by getting some of its actors
Yep.
to tweet out
Yep.
that Spider-Man needs to come back
Right.
to the MCU.
Right. Yep.
Jeremy Renner already made a post about it.
Was it on his Jeremy Renner social media app?
Yes.
We don't even have time to talk about that
No.
today, but that is something that happened this week.
Yes. But it's him on Vormir with his lost face after he lost to Tasha. But, now it's being taken as, oh my god, now I lost Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, Sony, come on, give us Spider-Man back.
What the
We
hell
lost
is
too
going
many."
on with Jeremy Renner, by the way? Just like, in general?
Oh, we're going to get to that in music.
Oh, boy. Well, we won't actually.
No, we won't. But yeah, he has a music
like I said,
career
we do
now.
not have time to talk about it today, but yeah, what the hell is going on with that guy? Anyway.
Okay, let's see. Isn't there a petition to keep Spider-Man in the MCU?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the fans will have tactics, including petitions, social media, like they're gonna try everything they got.
Well, yeah. Also, aren't you round that I now know what the MCU is? Yes. But yeah, there's online petitions already. There's even an online petition to remake Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and we saw how well that went.
Online petitions do not have a high chance of happening ever. But that being said, businesses like Disney have or Sony have succumbed to lesser threats, so we'll see. Ultimately what happens here. But
yes, I am round. I mean proud.
I mean, personally, I'm a little conflicted here. Like, I enjoy a lot what they've done with the Spider-Man character in the MCU. I haven't seen Homecoming or Far From Home, but I have seen the collaboration movies with the Spider-Man character.
Civil War,
and
Infinity
he's
War.
an entertaining addition to the team. The other half of me is like, yeah, but does Disney really need to have that character along with literally everything else in the world?
Well, seeing as they kind of use Spider-Man as a launching point for going forward in the MCU.
Yes, and
he was their epilogue,
and now they can't. So we'll see. Ultimately, I mean, we'll have updates with this as it goes on, but for now, this will have long-lasting effects on.
Why, yes,
franchises.
there was also a petition to replay the NFC Championship game.
that also that did happen, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to move on finally to a different section.
What do you mean? I have more to talk about on this.
No, we have to move on.
I literally have more to talk about.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh, right.
Okay, we'll like I said, we'll cover more as it happens.
Yes, when we actually get news, this may be a case of a James Gunn scenario where year later they'll say that Spider-Man is coming back and it was all a big publicity stunt, but it wasn't, but it was.
But we'll see.
But yeah, now you're super excited for Spider-Man, so you're definitely going to go see it now.
What else it means is that we get to move on to television.
All right, television.
We always start TV with sports, so let's get rolling with some quick sports hits.
All right.
The Little League World Series is in the quarterfinals today, with the finals on Sunday on ABC.
Little League World Series.
Yes.
The kids.
How are the kids from Fullerton doing?
That is not the same, actually.
It's not the same?
No. So, the kids from Fullerton were the Little League World Series Juniors division.
Oh, that's a juniors
Not
division.
the Majors division.
Right.
They were in the 13 and 14-year-olds, not the 10 and 12-year-olds.
Okay, who are competing in the majors here?
Hawaii is still in it. Virginia is still in it. Louisiana is still in it. And Rhode Island is still in it.
Okay, well, tune in on Sunday on ABC to see the finals of those games.
Yes, where they will take on one of the international teams for the World Series, an actual World Series, unlike MLB, which basically World Series
just means the United States and one Canada team.
No, it no longer includes one Canada team.
Oh, that's right.
The Expos are no more a thing.
One like halfway Canada team. Remember, there's that deal.
Yes, where the Tampa Bay will play half in Canada.
Yeah.
Yes,
one half Canada.
One half.
In other sports, college football, the NCAA football AP rankings were released.
Yeah, they
Number
were.
5, Ohio State. Number 4, Oklahoma.
Well, sorry. What was that? Number 5.
Sorry, number 5 is the Ohio State.
There you go.
There we go.
They got that trademark, they're filing for a trademark for the Ohio State.
Number 4, Oklahoma. Number 3, Georgia. 2, Alabama, and the number 1 ranked Clemson.
This is the first time in 6 years that Alabama has not been ranked number 1 preseason.
Man, Tide didn't roll as hard this year. College football returns, by the way, this Saturday, August 24th, starting with Florida at Miami.
That is Miami of Florida. And yes, you have to make the distinction because there is a Miami of Ohio.
Oh, sorry, yes.
But yeah,
good point.
College football is this weekend with Miami.
Yes.
It's the Battle of the Panhandle.
Yes. And meanwhile, in the UFC, new and returning heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic.
Ha! I knew you'd say Stipe.
Stipe.
It's not Stipe.
That's how it's spelled.
I know that's not
like
how
Michael
it's
Stipe.
I know.
R.E.M.
It's stupid.
That's dumb.
It is
stupid.
It is.
As I say.
But it's stupid.
Stipe.
Yeah.
Miocic.
Stipe Miocic.
Whose record is 19-3. Beats Daniel Cormier, whose record is 22-2.
Clearly, you know who these people are.
I have no idea who these people are.
Yes, that's only Daniel Cormier's second loss ever.
Wow.
He's also at the age of 40. He may retire. He may not.
Seems likely. And lastly, the U.S. Open of what?
Of tennis.
Thank you. Not to be confused with the U.S. Open of surfing. Starts on August 26th and continues through September 8th.
Yes, chat. There is a dash there. It's Stipe.
Stipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steep.
There's no dash in the actual name.
I know, but that's how you say it. There is one other piece of sports news.
Okay.
And that is the XFL.
That's not sports.
Yes, it is.
That's because sports entertainment.
Well, the teams and cities have been announced for the XFL. They're hilarious.
No, they always are, aren't they?
We have the Dallas Renegades.
Okay. Cheap Renegades, got it.
Yep. The Houston Roughnecks.
Okay.
The LA Wildcats.
That's like already a team for a billion things.
Yep. The New York Guardians.
Okay.
The St. Louis Battlehawks.
Oh, all right.
Seattle Dragons. Tampa Bay Vipers.
Okay.
And DC Defenders.
The DC Defenders. That's pretty good. Those aren't as silly as you made me think they were going to be.
I don't know, but take a look at St. Louis Battlehawks and tell me if there's a lawsuit coming.
Yeah, that looks like a thing already.
That looks like a thing.
Yeah.
Their logo looks like a thing already.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the Master Chief Halo logo.
It's close to the
USMC logo.
The USMC stuff. That's weird. Okay.
I want to say that it looks like it. It definitely looks like something that is been used before, but maybe not.
No.
I don't know.
All right, let's move on into television news. We start television news proper with the wheel of...
No, we don't. You skipped one.
I skipped one.
You skipped one.
It doesn't matter what order we do this. Time!
No, it does, because I put the pictures up here.
Oh, fine. Before we talk about wheel of time, I guess we have to talk about YouTube.
All right. So, YouTube, they don't do TV. Well...
Yes, they do.
They did.
Well, yes.
I guess. So, what is on the tube? What's the deal with the tube of views?
Hey, remember YouTube Originals?
I think it was YouTube Originals.
Yes.
I believe it was Whispered.
YouTube Originals was their program that for subscription fee to YouTube Red.
Back when it was YouTube
when
Red.
It was called YouTube Red. You could watch shows like Cobra Kai, Impulse, Step Up: High Water, Minefield, Foursome, and more. And more is not the name of the show, I'm just saying.
Yes, they had other shows on YouTube Red, or YouTube Premium now?
Starting September 24th, all of those will now be streaming for free because, for free, in quotes, I guess. $12 a month.
Well, let's see, it's $12 a month for ad-free. Because, if you want to keep that YouTube Premium.
It will be rolled into YouTube Premium. Subscribers will get an ad-free viewing experience as well as immediate access to every episode in the show's new season, as well as director's cuts and bonus scenes. Non-paying viewers will still have to wait for each episode to be released to the public on a weekly basis, with ads included. Mm-hmm. So that's how they're doing this.
Yes.
So if you're already a subscriber, just like you used to, this is all still free and ad-free.
And you get the dump immediately.
These will now become ad-supported for people who have not signed up for YouTube Premium. This comes as Google is shifting its focus away from scripted series to reality-driven projects, headlined by celebrities and YouTube stars.
Oh no, wait, is that us?
They're pivoting to reality.
Is that us? YouTube stars?
We're not YouTube stars.
We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
We're on
we
YouTube.
We are stars in our own way, but we are not YouTube stars.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyways,
this makes sense. I mean, I feel like scripted content was a boondoggle for them. They probably spent a lot of money that they did not see a lot of return for.
That's the fourth time I've heard the term boondoggle today.
Boondoggle is a good word. I love boondoggle.
Funny enough, it was when talking about YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube has a lot of boondoggles. So. Now we get to talk about Wheel
of
Time.
All right. So, prepare your mouth, because these are some really names here. That's the names coming up.
All right.
But
Amazon.
Yes, Amazon.
Amazon is making a series based on Wheel of Time, and it has found its main cast.
All right. Who am I not watching?
Joshua Stradowski, who I guess was in Just Friends, has been cast in the role of Rand al'Thor, with Marcus Rutherford, who I guess was in Obey, set to play Perrin Ibarra, and Zoe Robbins, who was, I guess, in Power Rangers Ninja Steel, one of several Power Rangers.
One of the several Power Rangers.
Is playing Nineveh. Close though.
None of these.
In addition, Barney Harris, finally a name I can say, who I guess was in Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, will play Matt Cawthon, and Madeline Madden, recently in Dora and the City of Lost Gold, will play Egwene Alvare. This, of course, is based on Robert Jordan's best-selling fantasy novels, The Wheel of Time. It is set in a high fantasy world where magic exists, but only certain women are allowed to access it. The story follows Moraine, Rosamund Pike of Gone Girl, as she embarks on a dangerous world-spanning journey with 5 young men and women, one of whom is prophesied to be the Dragon Reborn. That's Mr. Stradowski. A powerful individual who will either save humanity or destroy it.
Bum, bum, bum.
An adaptation of the Wheel of Time novels has been in development in one form or another going back as far as 2000. They've been trying to make Wheel of Time happen for a while. But the projects mostly never made it past that stage. Though there was a pilot episode for a series that was called, the pilot was called Winter Dragon. It aired on FXX way back in February of 2015. It starred Max Ryan and Billy Zane and aired at 1:30 in the morning with no prior publicity. Basically, something
that thing is set out to die.
Yeah, the network had bought and then regretted. So yeah, I have no reference for the Wheel of Time. I bet it has its fans out there.
I'm sure it has fans out there.
If you're a fan of the Wheel of Time and you're excited for this adaptation and you want to tell us your thoughts, email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com.
Or if you'd like to go check out the Wheel of Time and don't want to order from Amazon,
go to your local
library.
Yes, let's get a plug-in for libraries.
They're
good.
Get a woot woot for libraries?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, you get your woot woot.
Woot woot, library. All right, that is it for television.
Yeah, so you have no basis for the Wheel of Time.
I know, no context for it.
Well, this is Amazon's second high fantasy. seeing as they're already doing the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they spent up all their money on that.
Yep. So will this instead be like the B team working on it then?
Yeah.
The other crowd, your Lion King team working on it?
Yeah.
Instead of the Pocahontas?
Yes, your B team. Pretty much. Alright, that's it for television news.
Alright.
Which means we get to move on to some brief thoughts about stuff that we watched this week.
Alright. Real quick, briefly, on thoughts. First up, D23 is this weekend.
That's not a television show, but we might as well mention it.
I'm mentioning it now because expect a lot of Disney Plus streaming
stuff. You got a
stuff.
woot-woot for the library.
I got a woot-woot from the librarian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from an actual librarian.
An actual librarian. Yes, D23 is this weekend in Anaheim, California, Convention Center.
Yep.
Fun
fact, I went to the first one.
Fun fact, they have it every other year.
Yeah.
That's also a fun fact.
It's also a fun fact.
Yeah. But yeah, expect a lot of news from Disney Plus,
yep.
as they'll probably be showing off either first looks during it, trying to get people to sign up, talking about all their Marvel stuff at Disney Plus, all the Star Wars stuff at Disney Plus.
Season 2 of Amphibia, the important things.
Yes, important things.
Sorry.
They will also be doing the, what is it called? Disney Hall of Honor or something?
Ooh. Oh, right, where they honor somebody who's been involved in the company, whether directly or tangentially, and basically put them in the Hall of Fame, essentially.
Yeah, Disney's Hall of Fame.
Disney. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, it's an actual...
Hall of Mouse, or... They have some name for it.
There's an actual name for it, yeah, but I don't know...
Shining Star. I forget what it is.
Yeah, but Mulan Ming-Nin-Hua,
you
actress.
Butchered that name. Now I don't feel so bad.
I know.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, she was the voice of Mulan and is currently starring on on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC.
Yeah.
As one of the lead. Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
Okay.
Isn't that what I said?
No. You said Ming Wen Na.
Nah.
You got her name screwed up.
It's just out of order. Anyways, yeah, I know that she's going to be honored because she's done both the animated voice and now on Disney's ABC.
Well, we'll see. Alright, you also watched The Righteous Gemstones. Righteous Gemstones. Is this a Steven Universe spinoff that I don't know about?
No, but I did make that joke several times.
Oh, I bet.
Applause, by the way.
Contact. What is The Righteous Gemstones besides being some awesome pairs of rocks?
Of socks?
Rocks.
Of rocks. Oh, okay. No. So, The Righteous Gemstones is the new TV show from... I always want to call him Kenny Powers. I know
that guy. Yes.
I know it's Danny McBride, but Kenny Powers always comes to mind when I say that. But it's kind of funny because this is kind of like Kenny Powers and Eastbound and Down. Danny McBride stars in The Righteous Gemstones with Adam Devine and, weirdly enough, a John Goodman.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. They play...
he's having quite a 2019, by the way, John Goodman. Secretly, kind of in the background, but he's in a lot of stuff this year.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. For a good man. So it takes place in South Carolina, where the three of them are pastors. John Goodman is the father to Danny McBride and Adam Devine. And weirdly enough, I enjoyed this pilot. I liked what they set up. They play a bunch of pastors with basically big egos. It doesn't quite take the pop shots that I thought it was going to be at people who are in that kind of religious figurehead, where they obviously have a shit ton of money to the point where they have 3 planes.
You'd think there was some low-hanging fruit there they could have made fun of.
Oh, no, there's never some low-hanging fruit they could have made fun of. Clearly we don't believe in it, but we're just doing it.
Right.
No, they generally believe in everything they're doing.
Interesting.
But at the same time, are also being hypocrites about everything. Yeah. But they don't see it that way. They see it as doing it the righteous way.
Yeah, they're so up in their own.
They're so they feel
space,
they feel up there that everything they do is within their own head canon, that clearly everyone else looking at it from the outside in is like, well, that's wrong.
We have a South Carolinian saying "woot woot South Carolina."
Yes. Danny McBride actually loved filming there so much he actually moved there.
Carolinian? Is it Carolinian? Carolinian?
Caroline. I think it's
Sweet Caroline?
Caroline Bob.
Yeah, okay, got it. Alright. Let's go with that.
Yeah. So
sorry.
So yeah. Anyways, yeah. They are the three main actors, but they have a daughter as well.
Okay.
Who is, I think, more funny.
Funnier. That's
funnier.
Weird. You can say it.
No, 'cause she's not funnier. Just her character is more funny than the other three.
That's literally what funnier means.
Well, no, because what she does isn't more funny. Isn't funnier. Like, her lines aren't funnier, but the way she acts and the way her movements are more funny than it should funnier. Be. They're more funny than they should be.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking this.
Maybe.
Anyway,
anyways, she plays a daughter that is basically shooed away. It's like, oh, you're just the daughter. You can't be a priest. You can't be involved in the family. But she so wants to be that she basically is like the secretariat accountant, knows everything, but is never the face of anything. Mm-hmm. It's really funny, really good.
And what is this on?
This is HBO.
HBO? Okay.
This is also HBO's highest comedy debut in 3 years. That, of course, being Barry 2 years ago.
Carolinian.
Okay, Carolinian. I can get behind that. But no, the Righteous Gemstones.
That's a weird name.
Well, their last name is Gemstones.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
That's no longer
and
weird.
They are righteous.
And they are righteous.
I was trying to think of the whole time. I was waiting. Are they minors?
No.
What is happening here?
No. When John Goodman was younger and had a TV show, televangelist, the show was called The Righteous Gemstones. And
got it.
That reveal isn't until the end of the first episode, but that's where the name comes from.
Okay.
It opens in a Chinese 24-hour baptism in China that after 17 hours goes awry because if you're awake for 17 hours, of course you're going to get all antsy and bitsy and yelling at people. But it's a great setup. That first opening 5 minutes is a great setup to the rest of the show, and it had me hooked from there.
Okay,
so
cool. So you got something new on the radar.
I got something new to watch on Sunday nights now.
There you go.
Until Silicon Valley comes out in the season finale, or series finale at the end of the year. But yeah, The Righteous Gemstones, check it out. We get both approved.
Okay, alright, well, I also watched some TV this week. I watched a television show. I know, this is rare.
This is rare.
I watched season 3 of Glow on Netflix.
Okay, so tell me about Alison Brie.
Alison Brie. This is the Alison Brie one.
Yes, this is Alison
Brie Larson's now Academy Award winner.
Captain Marvel.
So we don't not even the same kind of comparison anymore.
No,
but
but Kyle Larson did win the first lap of the track last week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so Alison Brie,
television.
All right, so tell me about Mrs. Dave Franco.
Anyway, they're
married.
Okay,
Mrs.
I forgot that happened. Anyway, all right.
That's why I brought it up.
So, Glow season 3, third season of the Netflix show, of course, about the lady wrestlers. Mm-hmm. If you didn't already know. But yeah, this season takes kind of a different approach. They are no longer doing their television show. Instead, they have a residency in Las Vegas.
Woo!
So the whole season takes place in and around Vegas. A lot of casino happenings, a lot of hotel shenanigans. You can kind of see and start to guess the kind of plots that they get into. There's some gambling, there's some debauchery, there's strippers, gigolos, you name it. But still continuing the drama setup kind of in the first 2 seasons with all the same characters that you've grown to love.
Okay.
So this season's a little bit more dramatic. It's a little less funny. It does introduce a lot of really fun new characters, though, that live in and around the casino. Some new wrinkles to some familiar characters that make kind of evolve. There's a lot of good character growth in this season. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Coming off of the second season, which I was like kind of halfway about.
Yeah.
I don't remember last year me talking about that.
I know you mentioned that it kind of like lost its edge a bit.
I thought
kinda
so.
A little bit more serialized.
This season, it's definitely still very serialized. But it definitely went a lot. There's a lot of darker moments. It goes super deep into the characters this time, and a lot of twists and turns that I did not see coming. Every time I thought that the plot was going to go a certain direction, I was surprised with what they ended up doing with it.
Okay.
So I think it's a really quality kind of comeback feeling that they've got going right now, and they set up at the end of it a really interesting setup for a potential season 4.
Oh, okay.
So I could see this thing going.
Is it confirmed for season 4?
It has not been confirmed yet, but I would not be surprised if soon we hear that it's been picked up again.
Okay.
Because it's still just as strong as it has been. I think the next season premise could be really, really strong as well, without giving anything away. But it'll be different again. They figured out a way to make it different again.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. If you like that show, it's more of that show. And I just want to reiterate a point. After Netflix a couple weeks ago let go 2 shows by female creators and showrunners, I want to note this is a female-created show and led show. Almost every episode that I can recall that I watched the credits for had a female director credit.
We did note that last time when they got picked up that every director was going to be female.
Alison Brie herself directed an episode in this season.
Ooh!
So yeah.
Okay,
so really cool.
cool.
You can definitely tell that this is a show that's written and directed by women, because it is very in tune in a way that a lot of shows are not, with realistic depictions of female relationships.
Okay, that's good.
And so I recommend it for those of you who watched the first 2 seasons. It's still good. I like that show a lot.
All right, sounds good.
Let's move on out of television news and thoughts into cancellations and renewals.
You have any other thoughts on TV?
I do not.
I do not. Anything else?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
So cancellations and renewals. What's on the chopping block this week?
All right, what am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching Star Wars Resistance over at Disney because it has been canceled after 2 seasons.
Yes, this was the Star Wars animated show that followed in the steps of Star Wars Clone Wars, and then Star Wars Rebels, and now it's Star Wars Resistance, which is the side plot that takes place during the latest trilogy of films.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is in anticipation of Disney Plus.
Well, probably because with Disney Plus coming out, they're having the Star Wars Clone Wars come back.
Yes, so this clears the table for that.
Or maybe they said canceled, and then come a D23, say it's renewed, everyone goes,
yeah,
yay!
Or that could happen, we'll see. Over at Sci-Fi, they've canceled Krypton after 2 seasons.
And 1,000 fans cried, literally 1,000.
Yeah, just 1,000, that's all they
could afford.
And over at CBS, Instinct canceled after 2 seasons. I guess they knew it. Had to happen.
They weren't basic enough.
No. Also on CBS, The Late Late Show with James Corden. Not canceled. Instead, the opposite. Extended through 2022. So
that's
if you like
an additional 3 seasons.
The antics of James Corden.
Most people do. Some more carpool karaoke.
Yeah.
He's got a good niche there in The Late Late Show. He's
definitely made that show his own over the years.
Yeah.
And definitely has his stuff figured out. So he gets to keep on trucking for another few years.
Which, if I'm James Corden, I'm good with that.
Right.
I don't think he needs the step up. He doesn't need to go anywhere else. Literally the next step up is the prime time, which...
Yeah, I think he's probably
good
with his late night gig and hosting gigs every time they get him.
He gets Stephen Colbert's audience coming into it.
Yeah, and you can't argue with that. And then lastly, HBO is renewing Succession for a 3rd season.
Ooh.
So a successor to Succession.
Successor to Succession will be a 3rd successor. So it would be Succession the 3rd?
Successful. All right, that's it for cancellations and renewals. We move on to deaths. We got a couple of rough ones here.
All right.
First up, Peter Fonda, of course, the famous actor, age 79, most famous probably for the cinema-changing Easy Rider in the late 1960s.
Yeah, definitely cinema-changing.
For sure.
Jane Fonda, husband? I believe so. Brother? One of the Fondas.
Yes, the Fonda family is full of recognizable stars. But yes, Peter Fonda being one of the...
I guess now it is the late Peter Fonda.
Yeah. Then also, a rough one for the animation community. Richard Williams, age 86, was an animator and also an Oscar winner for his work on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as he was the lead animator in that project.
Yes, he won the Oscar for art direction, as he was the lead on that. He's also credited for the creation of Roger and Jessica Rabbit.
Yes.
He also, fun fact, did a lot of opening animated title cards as well.
Including the Pink Panther.
He is also credited with creating the Pink Panther.
The character, not the movie.
Yes, the Pink Panther character who would eventually go on to do bubblegum commercials.
You may also recognize the name because he's also responsible for the limited release animated classic The Thief and the Cobbler.
Yes.
Which animation fans know as this little known work of art, but copyright fans might know as the movie that got Aladdin in some copyright trouble over at Disney before the 1992 release of Aladdin. There were some similarities between the two films that brought a lot of criticism towards Disney's film that ended up being settled outside of court.
Right. He was an animator even up to last year. He was nominated for an Academy Award for a short animated film.
But yeah, I strongly recommend you look up his Wikipedia or read some books about Disney animation in the 90s and 80s, as you'll learn a lot about Richard Williams and the trials and tribulations he had working on both The Thief and the Cobbler with the Aladdin controversy, and especially the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because it is fascinating the kind of work that had to go into that movie and the battles that the animation team had with the Disney team from Hollywood to Florida, where a lot of the animation is happening. It's a lot of really cool, interesting stuff about Richard Williams. He was definitely a force to be reckoned with in the animation world, and he will be missed.
Not to be confused with John Williams, who was also a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it's different.
Yes.
Anyway, that's it for deaths, thankfully. No more deaths. So that means I get to hand this over to you, and we start talking about music.
All right, and we start music with the Billboard, and we start the Billboard.
What a week for Billboard!
With the Hot 100.
All right, give it to me. What is number one this week?
It is not Old Town Road.
After 19 weeks, it has finally been dethroned.
So the new record is 19 weeks for a single. 19 consecutive weeks.
19 consecutive.
19 consecutive weeks. That consecutive is important.
So will this number one do it?
Yes. After being the bridesmaid for literally 19 plus weeks.
Well, no. The official number apparently is 9.
Okay, for really?
That's 9 straight weeks is it for number 2.
I believe she's been in the
top 5 for longer, but she's only been number 2 for 9 straight weeks.
Okay, so being in the top 5 as a bridesmaid for literally like half this year. But finally is the bride. Finally gets to walk down that aisle.
Not really. She's, 17 years old. I don't think she's getting married right now.
Okay. Finally being crowned prom queen.
There we go.
Is Bad Guy by Billie Eilish.
Yes. Number one. That's finally a number 1 single.
Yes. She finally got that number 1. It finally happened. Number 2 is Senorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello.
Climbing up.
That means number 3 is Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. Yep. Number 4 is Truth Hurts by Lizzo. And number 5 is Talk by Khalid.
So the Billie Eilish number 1 actually leads into the VMAs this weekend, where she will be performing and will likely win on probably a handful of Moon people.
Oh, the Moon Man Awards.
They're not Moon Men anymore. TV has changed it to Moon Person.
That's right, because they're gender non-discrimination.
They're gender neutral now.
Yes. That brings us to the Billboard 200s with the number 1 album this week, We Are Not Your Kind by Slipknot.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be number 1, but hey.
I want to say ticket sales got that bump.
Yeah, I bet it was probably something like that.
Number 2 is Port of Miami 2 by Rick Ross. I bet Rick Ross is throwing a tantrum right now somewhere.
He's pissed, yeah. I bet he's super pissed.
Number 3 is... What? by Triple Red.
That sound you made was an exclamation point.
Yes.
And that's Trippy Red.
Triple Red. Triple.
Trippy.
That's 9? Okay,
Is
Trippy
that?
Red. Yes, that's also a Metal Gear Solid exclamation point noise I tried to make there. Number 4, When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. And number 5, number 6, Collaborations Project by Ed Sheeran.
Yep.
Those are your Billboard 200 albums.
Yay!
Alright, time for new releases.
What am I listening to this week?
I don't know what you're listening to.
Actually, a couple of these
Actually, I don't know what you're listening to.
at least 2 of these records.
But here are your new releases.
Okay.
We have Ginger by Brockhampton.
Yep.
We
all
have
13 of them.
all Brockhamptons.
Yeah, all of the Brockhampton members.
We have Anak Ko by Jay Som.
Yep, I'll be checking that out.
Pokemon. Because we have TM104.
I don't think that's a Pokemon reference.
It is definitely a Pokemon reference.
I don't think the TMs have ever gotten to the 100 range.
Alright, TM. No, they have gotten to the 100 range.
Have they?
I know there's more than 100 TMs. I know that.
Yeah, alright, anyway. It's not a Pokemon reference.
Alright, TM104, The Legend of the Snowman by Jeezy.
I think he's the artist formerly known as Young Jeezy. Now he's just Jeezy.
Oh, he grew up.
Yeah.
How sad. Late Nights and Long Decks by Justin Moore.
Do you know what this is? This is a country
This
person?
is a country person.
Okay, I included it because his name sounded relatively familiar.
Yep. Up next, the album I will be listening to this weekend.
Okay.
And I'm going to pre-call my album of the year.
Whoa.
Because the singles they've released, they are 3 for 3 with me.
Okay.
So that's... I'm putting my hot take right now, sticking it in mid-August where it's also super hot, that Let It Roll by Midland will be my number 1 album of the year.
We'll see.
We also have Lover by Noah Gunderson.
One of 2 records called Lover coming out this week. Don't be confused.
Don't be confused with Lover by Taylor Swift.
Right, yes.
The
Also
other album coming
week.
out this week.
You should have probably kept that for last because that is the biggest release.
I don't know, but the fact they have both Lovers in here.
No.
So maybe that's on purpose so Nate Gunderson can steal some listens.
Just like search Lover and you find both.
Steal some ears. We also have Jimmy Lee. That is the name of the album.
Yes.
Jimmy Lee by Raphael Sadiq.
Uh-huh.
Eve by Rhapsody. A Distant Call by Sheer Mag.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm Livin' by Tanya Tucker.
Yep.
And Okay by Vince Gill. I believe that is the other album. Are you going with Taylor Swift?
I'm gonna force myself to listen to that Taylor Swift.
You're gonna force yourself to listen to Taylor Swift.
I didn't like Reputation, and I don't like the singles for this thing. I just want to know how bad it's gonna be. I'm just curious.
I will listen to that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll both have 2 albums to
see
listen to.
how it is, because
All right, so we'll have both have 2 albums to listen to this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Taylor Swift.
Okay. ...
She is in the news.
Well, this is a weird story that that piqued my interest because I was like, this is stupid. But I can see why she'd want to do this.
All right. Well, when Taylor Swift let her feelings be known about her former label, Big Machine, ending up in the hands of Scooter Braun, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
This is kind of a follow-up.
Speculation about what little recourse she had in the situation ran rampant. Like, what if she simply re-recorded material from those first 6 studio albums?
Yeah.
In an acoustic version. That'd be hers.
In like a Twitter joke format, it'd be like, Taylor Swift should simply re-record all of her entire discography.
Well, I don't think she recorded exactly the same, but if she did acoustic versions, there could be the new album and be hers, right?
So,
remastered?
Did she say that she's going to do this?
No, not really. Although that was considered a long sort of number of reasons.
Yeah.
Swift has now asserted in an interview with CBS Sunday Morning that she plans to actually do just that.
Yes.
Although the extent or timing of her plans to go back in the studio to revisit her oldies wasn't addressed.
So, okay, I included this because this is fascinating, because I don't know if this has happened.
I don't know.
Can you name an instant of this happening?
Where an artist goes back in the studio to record their hits so they keep the masters?
Literally everything, because they lost it. Like, could you imagine?
No, but I could see her just recording just the hits and making an album
the greatest hits album?
And just calling it Taylor Unplugged.
Technically, oh, never mind. I was gonna say she hasn't had it self-titled yet, but no, she did.
No, she did.
Literally her first album. Was
as most albums are.
I'm trying to think
unlike
of what
a
she
couple
could call
bands.
it.
Unplugged, stripped down.
That's.
Naked.
I don't know if she'd want to do that.
Me. No, wait, that's a song. Call it T.S. I Love You.
That's terrible. I hate it.
Really?
Okay.
I thought that was kind of stuff. You call it TSA. TSA.
That's worse.
Taylor Swift Acoustics.
Why do you think they're going to be acoustic?
Because I don't think they could be exactly the same.
So that doesn't mean she has to do an acoustic.
Okay, fine. Taylor Swift Remastered.
Anyway.
Taylor Swift Deep Dive.
Although I do want to mention there is precedent for this, apparently, because I learned something I didn't know about Taylor Swift this week.
So, what else is about Taylor
She
Swift?
had re-recorded an early song of hers. She apparently re-recorded her early hit Love Story, which I think was on her second or third album.
Second.
In a...
All Fearless.
In the 1989 era.
Okay.
With that kind of production value.
Okay.
So she has done this. So maybe she could do that for all of it.
So it's not new for her to do something like
this.
this.
It's just I don't know how far she wants to go with this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just do the hits.
Yeah.
Because that's all people are going to listen to is the hits.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens, Taylor. This will be a big Taylor week, and we'll be back with our Taylor thoughts next week.
We'll definitely have some Taylor thoughts next week.
Yeah,
and they'll be tailor-made just for you.
Creepy. All right, what's our other music story in music world?
Other music story has to deal with the Spotify.
No, it doesn't it always?
Sometimes. Once a month. Once a month we get a Spotify
This is just
thing.
a brief, cool one for, actually, for one person watching and one person in this room.
Yes. So if you happen to have the Spotify family plan,
which we do,
you'll be getting a new feature. While there is no mention of price in the U.S. blog announcing the plan, a rep A rep from the company confirmed the price will remain the same.
That's just good news.
Yes, because the plan will now offer access to Family Mix playlists and the ability to manage all of the family plan members in a single place, including parental controls on explicit content. The plan still allows for up to 6 individuals' premium accounts per plan, but you now have parental controls and a family mix.
So yeah, the family mix is interesting because it could potentially be a good way to be like, hey, I found this thing my family member would really enjoy, and it'd be easy way to share.
Or it's, hey, we're going on a family road trip.
Everybody add to the
Everyone
family
add
mix.
to the list.
Exactly. It could be really good for, say, I don't know, like a wedding reception playlist or something. I don't know, just throwing that out there.
Or, you know, a long road trip somewhere
Yeah.
that you want to, like, have people contribute to. I don't know.
There's some options, for sure. Yeah, it's a good idea that I look forward to trying out.
I kind of like this idea.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like throw on your favorite song, or it's like, hey, parents, throw on your favorite song when you were kids.
But like the
listen
parents
to
can
them.
also say like, hey kids, don't add any rap explicit rap songs. Don't add any Slipknot on this playlist.
What do you mean? They're a Christian band.
Callback, everybody. That was a good callback. All right. Anyway,
It's fine. Anyway.
that's it. That's all that is
that's
for
good.
music this week.
That's a good addition. I like that
Yeah.
addition. I don't think this should be something that's like would up it for any reason, up the price, but definitely a good addition and a good way to get actual families to join a
Yes, actual
family.
families. No one else would use the family plan. they would be insane to even try.
I know. I mean, you gotta like. What? Don't they have a thing where you have to like be in the same household?
Oh yeah, you definitely have to have the same address.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's how they get around that, and that's how they get around that. God damn angels of mine. Thoughts.
Anyway.
Thoughts. Moving on to music. Thoughts.
Please, let's move on.
All right. You listened to an album.
I did listen to an album this week.
All right. So you listened to the new Slater-Kinney album.
Yes. All right.
Center Won't Hold.
The center won't hold. Okay.
And neither will the drummer. Will she?
Yeah.
Will she?
Well, like I mentioned last week, yes, this marks the last album from the group that includes their drummer, Janet Weiss. She has chosen to leave the band and will not be accompanying them on their forthcoming tour. But that's not the only thing that's changed here. The band's sound has also changed greatly here. So if you're familiar with Slater-Kinney, they're mostly a guitar-focused band. They've always been since their inception in the mid-90s, up until their reunion album in 2015. They sounded relatively the same. They've introduced slightly new styles and new production values as they went on. But it was still basically the same kind of guitar-driven sound with the vocals of lead vocalist Corin Tucker and Carrie Brownstein, which a lot of people know as co-star of IFC's Portlandia and bestie to Fred Armisen.
Mm-hmm. When Fred Armisen's not doing drums for Seth Meyers.
Their vocals would often intertwine. They would have harmonies. They would have like kind of back and forth call and response kind of vocals, and their guitars would do the same. And very little of that is reflected here. It is a very different kind of thing. As I mentioned last week, jumping on production duties here is St. Vincent, real name Annie Clark, who's helping them here kind of refine the sound into something more electronic, a lot more synth-heavy, 80s influenced, that they haven't really played around with before. And the result is, well, it's good.
Yay!
It's good. At least I can say that. But
where's the but?
But is it Slater-Kinney is a question that I kept thinking of the whole time. So basically, what I'll say about it is that I really enjoyed it. It does some really interesting things sonically. I liked a lot of the songs. There are definite highlights here. I miss the kind of, like I said, the call and response and the intertwining vocals between Carrie and Corin, because most of the songs here actually have them kind of doing their own solo thing every other song.
Okay.
There's Carrie songs and there's Corin songs. That hasn't really been the case before. Like sometimes, but not usually. The entire album has been so divided as this one feels. And Janet doesn't get a whole lot of things to drum. There's very little actual times where I thought about the drums in these songs. And so I kind of can't blame her for maybe feeling underutilized in the new version of the band, and maybe that was part of why she chose to depart. It's such a different thing that maybe she felt like the odd one out, since she's not a vocalist and she doesn't get to engage in that level of the performance. I think there's just so much that I missed of the old dynamic of the old band. A lot of that joy is kind of missing. But the highlights are highlights. There's one song in particular which is called Love. And it is, in a way, a love letter to the band itself. There's some references to previous albums in it. There's basically just talking about, like, the thing that brings them back to this project is their friendship, their bond, their love for each other. Mm-hmm. And that is a recurring theme through the record. There's also a recurring theme of these women knowing that as they get older, it's not often that we see older women in the spotlight in bands like this, or even in television or movies like this. And so they're trying to make this point that, like, no, we are older women, we are demanding to be seen. There's a line that I'm paraphrasing here in one of the songs where they say as much. And it's really, really cool, and it's really great that they're using this as a platform to remind everybody. It's like, no, it's like, just because a woman is older than 40 doesn't mean that they can't be, like, important, they can't be seen, they can't rock hard. And, like, I think that's really cool, and Slater-Kinney are a good example of that, even if their sound is getting into places that they've never been before. As for the future, I don't know. It seems unclear. It seems like the band was rocked by Janet's departure. In every post-release interview that I've seen, they've mentioned that it was a thing they didn't want to happen. It was definitely a thing that they were trying to encourage, not like to stop. They were trying to get Janet to stay as long as possible, stay through the tour, be in the band, and so this, what happened, just kind of has made the air a little weird. Not for them, but for fans as well.
Okay.
I think that fans will probably find this album divisive. I think this will be a topic of conversation now for the rest of the time the band exists. I think that it kind of reminded me of when Arcade Fire put out Reflector and how divisive that record was, or even Kanye West with Life of Pablo.
Right.
Like, this is kind of a Life of Pablo moment where it was like, yeah, this is good, but it's not revolutionary. It doesn't do anything to be like, this is the new statement that we're making. There's a change. There's like a dividing line between what the band was and what the band is now. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think that if you like the band, if you have any interest, you should definitely check it out, see if it's for you. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to stand up to the test of time. It'll be really interesting to see the legacy of both this record and the band come.
So this is not their final album.
No, they have not at any point said this was it.
Okay.
Janet leaving the band did not end Slater Kenny.
Okay.
As long as Corin and Carrie want to continue with it, it can potentially continue to be a project for them. They do also have other projects though, so it'll be interesting to see if it continues.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to say that because it sounds like you get your song, I get my song, you get your song, I get my song, and then you're in it like every third time. That seems very divided.
Structurally, yeah, and that may have been a creative choice, for all we know. Like, we were in the studio, like, maybe Annie suggested that. Maybe Annie wanted it to be more pop in the way that pop songs are usually like that.
Okay.
And, like, maybe that was the goal, or maybe there was some distance between Carrie and Corin. I don't know. They haven't really hinted at that at all. And it would kind of fly in the face of the statement that they're making on the record about being so close. So, I don't know.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's an interesting thing.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what's not interesting is Hunter Hayes.
Alright, so you listen to Hunter Hayes' new record.
So, yes, on Friday I realized, oh hey, there's a new Hunter Hayes album.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought there might have been, but we did mention it.
I think we mentioned it.
We did mention it. But yeah, Hunter Hayes' new album, Wild Blue, Part 1.
Oh, great.
That means...
Is there a Part 2 coming?
It probably means there will be a Part 2. But I'm not looking forward to Part 2. This is Hunter Hayes' third album, I believe. Which is not good.
Alright, you're just going for it.
I'm just going for it. If you told me that, hey, there's this new artist on My FM that's aiming for the tweens. His name is Hunter Hayes.
I hate when artists aim for the tweens.
Aim for the tweens. He's the new up and comer that I like, and he's really hot looking, and he has kind of good music, but he's just really hot looking. Give this album a listen to. It's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of poppy. I kind of get it, but this album hits your favorite genre.
Oh no. The mono genre?
The mono genre!
So everything at once.
Everything about this album feels flat, which is why it feels like a disappointment being his third album. It doesn't lean towards country, it leans more towards pop, and then leans back towards the middle of the mono genre, and about 3 songs in it, I was like, this is just the mono genre. There is literally nothing in this album that makes me want to continue listening to it. There's nothing that makes me want to come back to it. And if this was the first album that Hunter Hayes put out, I'd be like, okay, there might be something here. I can kind of see where you're going for. You have some talent,
artist,
but because he has established hits before,
what is he trying to do?
Yes, like, are you trying to take that pop route? Do you want to go that, I want to hit the young demographic so that way they can be with me for the next 7-10 years.
Maybe rephrase that, but okay.
So that way they can listen to me for the next 7-10 years. Or do I lean more towards the country version that I started with and kind of get my head into a very crowded field of that genre of solo male artists in the country that do country pop. And that is a crowded field.
It is definitely crowded.
So I see why he's making this pivot. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. I don't think it works for most people. But then again, I'm not a young girl.
Yeah, you're not the audience.
I'm not the audience for this thing. But, if Hunter Hayes is your demographic, give it a listen. You might like it. It's just not for me. It's just very flat. It goes through typical country routes of love, of God, of loss, of love, of wanting to be the boy of the boy in the band, the boy next door down the street, and
Loves to be the boy.
Yeah, he wants to be the boy, not yet the man.
He wants to be the guy, like that video game.
That guy.
I want to be the guy.
He wants to be that guy. Look, talking about that guy.
The boys.
But the boy is just the boy. I'm not. I don't know how many times I can run around here and say this, but it's a mono-genre country pop album that doesn't strike a chord with me. And that is a country guitar pun.
I got it. Well, that's disappointing.
Not really.
Right.
Because seeing as his main hit is Wanted, it's more of like that is a piano country ballad.
Oh, I remember that, kid.
Wanna make you feel wanted. Yeah, and see how that one crossed into the pop?
Right, you're right, it did.
This one wants to lean more towards that pop, wants to make that genre cross.
But it doesn't work.
I mean, it might work for some people. Not going to work for me, but it might work. Might have one or two, something there. But they're already on the radio, so
all right,
not much more.
To anything else?
No.
Okay.
I went back to the Casey Musgraves album.
Yeah, but that's not new.
No, it's not new, but it's still good. It's still good.
Still the best thing that came out last year.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's talk about video games now.
All right,
Done with music.
Done with music. We'll move into video game news.
Video games. Well, first, before news, we got new releases. So
all right.
Don't forget about the new releases. And this is a week. Capital W. A lot of stuff's coming out.
All right. Games upcoming this week.
The floodgates have opened.
We have Telling Lies on the PC.
Telling Lies is the follow-up, by the way, to the popular indie game from a few years ago, Her Story. This is from the Her Story devs.
Her Story?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a full motion video, choose.
Walkthrough adventure.
Decision-driven game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like those games. That's why it's on the PC.
I never played Her Story, but it always seemed really
All right, Telling Lies on the PC.
I hear this is good.
We have Oninaki on the PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Don't know what that is.
Ancestors, The Humankind Odyssey on the PC. The Bard's Tale, IV, The Bard's Tale, IV, Director's Cut. For the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Crystar for PlayStation and PC.
That's where I go when I'm very sad.
You go to the Crystar?
I go to the Crystar.
We also have Knights and Bikes for PlayStation and PC.
Yes, and the cover of that game is just Knights and Bikes.
We have MXGP 2019.
Motocross
Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We also have the Wreckfest for PlayStation and Xbox.
Yes.
And lastly, the two biggest releases this week, I think.
What do you think?
First one is Control for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Yes, this is the new Remedy, Joey?
Yeah, Remedy.
The people who brought you Alan Wake and Max Payne.
Yep.
This is their new game. This sounds rad. All the footage I've seen is this thing. It's like telekinetic powers and control, throwing things across the room and throwing dudes. And yeah, it seems really cool.
I may buy this game. I may
check it out. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but...
Well, I don't know if there's a demo I can probably download.
Redbox it, maybe?
Maybe Redbox if it's available.
But yeah, this seems really neat.
Yeah. And lastly, for all you PC lovers out there who want to go back to the way things used to be, World of Warcraft Classic.
It tastes like Coca-Cola Classic. It's vanilla WoW, as they call it in the biz.
Yes.
Just the regular old World of Warcraft before they cataclysmed it and take all the original things out.
Right, and this is also why they stopped production. They sued the other production team of fans who were trying to make a World of Warcraft Classic.
People running the servers of the original, yeah.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for people to play original World of Warcraft quests, just like they used to be, but modernized with modern graphics.
Do note, however, you still need a World of Warcraft account and subscription to play World of Warcraft Classic.
Yeah, it's not free.
Unfortunately, like it should be, but
although it might be free to a certain level.
I know for a time it was like free to level 20.
That might still be true. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. But that brings us into news.
It does.
And this week it was Gamescom this past weekend.
Gamescom, which is the European equivalent.
Germany
to E3.
equivalent.
Yes.
Yes. Taking place in Germany, Gamescom. So instead of just making one big Gamescom, we have the bits.
This isn't just Gamescom bits, though. This includes some things that happen outside of the show as well. But this is just one big slab of bits for you.
Right. Well, because there's stuff that happened outside of Gamescom, we are going to have double bits.
Double bits.
Oh, just dropping bits everywhere
Nothing
here.
but bits.
All right. Rapid fire, lightning round news.
Yes.
Well, maybe not that fast, but we'll get into all this fairly fast. So, first up in the bits, something that is not related to Gamescom.
Right. That's what I said.
GameStop lays off over 100 employees, including 7 Game Informer editors.
So we knew this was coming. Well, at least we knew this was coming for the retail stores. GameStop has had the writing on the wall forever. We've been reporting it over and over again for years. What I didn't anticipate is that Game Informer, their magazine, would also take a hit here. 7 very talented writers lost their jobs, and here's hoping that they figure out their deal. And but also, of course, our hearts go out to the retail workers too, because those jobs sucked. And we hope that they move on to something that doesn't suck and isn't owned by a company that sucks.
Yeah, but we've been chronicling the downfall of GameStop for a while now. We've noted that the CEO has lost $350 million over the course of like 2 years.
Yeah. And
they've had 3 CEOs in a year. So, GameStop is just going down the tubes.
Yeah.
Hopefully those 7 editors get together to form a new magazine.
Not gonna happen.
Call it Second Life or something.
Not in 2019. Also, that's names taken.
I know.
Anyway.
Well, now to Gamescom news. There's been a new Death Stranding sighting, as Death Stranding gameplay has been shown off.
New gameplay footage.
New gameplay, a little bit more of what you're doing with the baby this time.
Also, Jeff Keighley is in it?
Jeff Keighley's in it, but it's not Jeff Keighley's voice. Which makes it even more weird.
Also, this leads credence to that everybody that Kojima has been hanging out with on Twitter may or may not be in this game.
Yeah.
And that short list, and it includes some crazy names like Director Edgar Wright.
Yes.
And Grimes.
Apparently for the past 5 years, Kojima has been meeting random people, random celebrities.
Yeah.
And
hanging
out with them and scanning their faces to put into the game. But not necessarily their voices, just their way they look. It's like Guillermo del Toro's in it.
I really hope that everybody is in the game somehow, and he's just got every person that he met with. That'd be so good. Because then somebody could just go back in time on his Twitter feed and be like, oh, this person, this person, this person.
Yeah, but they showed off one mechanic that got the internet ablaze, as you now have to pee in video games.
There's a pee mechanic. A pee mechanic that changes when you pee with other people.
There's a pee mechanic where if you pee in the same place, you'll grow mushrooms. A pee mechanic where if you don't pee, it will hinder your character.
Yeah, you should pee.
A pee mechanic where if you try to look at the penis, he will move. So you cannot view it.
I forget the name of the GameSpot writer to credit this to, but I believe the joke was, you don't get to see Norman's Reedus.
Is that Norman's penis?
But same joke, yeah.
Yes. But no. I want to say that this latest trailer has sold me on getting Death Stranding Day 1 on pre-ordering.
Oh my god, don't fall for it! Don't do it!
It's Kojima. I know this game is going to be super long, super confusing, and super cinematic, which is kind of what I want.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell this is going to be.
Also, it briefly brought up a world map, and it looked like you got to traverse the United States,
yeah.
or at least one half of it.
Oh yeah, and you can just like whip out a ladder at any time and then put
Insta ladder. Insta ladder.
You just leave it there.
Well, we knew that was a feature before the previous the E3 trailer.
Good. I just like the fact that you just abandoned all these ladders.
This game seems super weird. I have no idea what's going on, which makes me want to play it more and kind of figure it out.
So yeah.
But no, yeah, Death Stranding is now on my radar. Still has a release date of November. Yeah. So I may not play it till December. But we also have other news, including Halo Infinite creative director Tim Longo, who has left 343 Industries.
Yeah. This is a surprise.
Executive producer Mary Olson will now take charge of the campaign team on Halo Infinite as the lead producer.
This is weird news because we know so little about what this game actually is that we have no idea how far in development they are.
All we know is that this will supposedly be an Xbox Scarlet release date.
Correct, yeah. We have a release date. We just don't know, or the release window, I guess you could say. We just don't know what it is yet. We haven't seen any gameplay. We haven't heard anything like gameplay like adjacent about what this thing's going to be. So it's weird that a creative director is leaving in the middle, like smack dab in the middle of this game's development. It could be worrying, but who knows?
I want to say this can't be Microsoft's decision.
It's 343.
It's 343.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what to make of this. I mean,
we don't know enough. We don't know enough.
You don't send an executive producer down for no reason. Or a creative director down for no reason.
It sounds like it was his call, so.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Other new information has been released regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield. The battle system was revealed during the opening ceremony of the Pokemon World Championships in Washington, D.C.
And that's vague on purpose because the actual information was so in the nitty-gritty that I did not have time to write it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're interested at all in like some new moves and abilities that some of the Pokemon have, there's a new trailer out that has all of that for you, so go check it out.
In addition to that, on the side little piece of news here, the Pokemon World Championships were held this past weekend. All those battles are now up on YouTube. We have a new Pokemon Master in the Master Division, a new Pokemon Master in the Seniors Division, and a repeat in the Juniors Division.
So I actually did some reading about the structure of the Pokemon play system this week for a few reasons. So it seems interesting. This was both the video games and the card game, we should note.
Yes.
Both of those happen.
Well, they do it at the same time.
Yeah.
But the one I'm referring to is the video game. They battle 4 Pokemon out of 6. If 4 Pokemon go get KO'd, they faint, you're done. But
the other thing that came out of this that's important to note that I don't have written down because it's kind of more broad is that Game Freak pretty much straight up said that they're really focusing in on the battle system this time. There's going to be a lot of online options for battles for Sword and Shield. It looks like they're listening to the competitive scene and like trying to put things that people will actually really enjoy on like internet within internet battles. Just completely revitalizing to the point where they're actually not using the global link site server that's been used for every single game since Black and White. This is going to be built on a new interface from now on, starting with Sword and Shield. So this still lends credence to my theory that that this game is going to do a lot of new things and is going to be a lot of different things at once. I really think that's the direction they're taking.
I think that they're going to try and utilize the full potential of the Switch, the full potential of Nintendo's servers, and create something that is new and hasn't been seen.
It'll be interesting to see if how heavy they go into the hardcore, because they've never done that before.
No. I'd like to see a broad Pokemon game that is open to new players, but has a lot of that hardcore feature for old players as well.
So if you play a lot of online battles, then this game seems like this is made for you.
It'll definitely be interesting to see at next year's Pokemon Championships that everyone has to bring a Switch.
Everybody will have to bring their Switch,
Ooh, that'd be weird.
But at least the cartridges, it still works like the DS did. You can just pop the cartridge in.
What do you mean? They'll just download it. Have a dedicated Switch for Pokemon.
Switch, maybe.
Or you buy the new
you
buy the new Switch, the new Nintendo Switch, which is lighter and more powerful. So you basically have a portable.
Yeah.
Switch Lite. Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Switch Pokemon Lite.
Maybe.
But let's get off of Nintendo. We were on that for a little too long there.
Yeah.
But Microsoft says its new studios will, quote, focus on making games for our platform, with no further plans to release more Xbox exclusives on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, this quote here has a little backstory to it.
It does.
The most recently, Ori and the Blind Forest was confirmed for Switch, previously being an Xbox exclusive. So this got the internet talking about, hey, what else is going to be coming from the Xbox vault?
Yeah, this has been a long road, because on this very podcast we talked about previous months and years even, there being this strong rumor that Microsoft was going to have this better partnership with rivals such as Nintendo, and potentially that would include some games that were former exclusives to be coming over to other systems. This quote pretty much puts a kibosh on that. This is Microsoft basically quelling the flames and being like, yeah, we did it a couple times, but don't think that this is going to become the new normal.
Yeah, this was kind of brought up when Microsoft said that, we'll work with the Switch and create shared servers for Fortnite and for Minecraft.
Yeah. A little unrelated.
A little related, but, kind of the same.
Though, it's funny that this news hit. I didn't write this down, but this same week, Sony made the opposite claim. Yeah. Sony made an announcement basically saying that their suite of first-party developers would occasionally be allowed to make their games for other platforms, such as the PC. They never said Xbox. They just said PC in the future. And this has already begun. There is at least one Sony published title that is currently on the Epic Games Store. So this looks like something that they're experimenting with and kind of starting to do little by little. So don't be surprised if you see major Sony financed first-party published games on PC.
Okay.
Say maybe Death Stranding. That's a very popular theory.
Very popular theory.
It's a popular theory that they may get a PC, even though that's financially backed by Sony. You may see a PC.
That is still a Kojima production, and Kojima, being from Konami, can literally do whatever he wants.
Could happen. Might not happen, but could happen.
Could happen. But speaking of Sony, real quick, while they did mention that, they also mentioned that we're going to buy a studio.
Yeah.
And not just any studio. You ever heard talk about SpiderMan?
We were.
Yeah, they bought Insomniac Games.
Yes. So, brief backstory here.
Yes.
This is not the first time that Sony has a partnership with Insomniac. Back in the PS1 and PS2 eras, Insomniac only did PlayStation development. They were never purchased at the time by Sony. They were never an in-house Sony developer, but they were referred to as a, not as popular a term now, but a popular term back in the old days, a second-party developer, which basically meant that they were a partner with Sony and only developed games for their systems. That changed in the 360 PS3 era. They experimented with putting out games on other platforms, going into even early Xbox One era with Sunset Overdrive, one of our favorites here at the
Yes, which is no longer a thing, because that IP is Who knows
Yeah.
what's going on with that?
But yeah, no, this confirms, though, that Insomniac will no longer presumably be doing development for Xbox, as they will be a owned Sony property, just like Naughty Dog.
Yeah. But this does mean that Sony gets access, sole access to Spyro, to...
Well, no, they don't own Spyro.
Well, no, Insomniac does.
No, Insomniac does not own the IP for Spyro.
What?
That is just like Crash Bandicoot.
Universal.
Those are both Universal properties. Remember how Activision had the rights to make the Spyro in the Skylanders games?
I thought that was...
That's why. That had nothing to do with Insomniac.
I thought that there's a reason they went away from calling it a Spyro game.
Insomniac, of course, helped with the development of the remakes because they made those original games.
Okay.
But no, they do not own the IP for Spyro the Dragon. Yes.
But, Ratchet and Clank.
They do own the IP for Ratchet and Clank.
And,
they do
Resistance.
own the IP for Resistance, though we'll never see another Resistance.
No. Well, they said no. Then they said, maybe we're not going to totally count it up, but
the important thing here is Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider-Man 2... I really hope they just call it Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
I hope they call it Spider-Man the Dark.
Or something.
Turn off the dark.
Whatever they end up calling it, the second Spider-Man game is in development now, presumably. And will be a Sony exclusive.
Yeah.
There you go.
But there's other news. We're not done. Like I said, double bits here.
Bits keep coming.
The bits keep coming.
The bits keep coming. They don't stop coming.
They don't stop coming. They don't stop coming. Moving back over to Microsoft, real briefly. Gears Pop. You know, that mobile spin-off game?
Yeah, mobile game with Pop.
For Gears of War?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it will be launching just ahead of Gears 5, out on August 22nd.
So, just days away. A day away?
Yeah.
A day away. That's tomorrow. So get ready if you care at all about Funko Pops and or Gears of War. Preferably both. Then check this out.
Yeah, or mobile games.
Also, I heard it has 1,000 achievement points if you care about that kind of thing.
Oh, people still care about achievement points?
Some people must.
Well, I don't know. I still care about platinum trophies. So,
yes.
Yeah, someone does.
All right.
We still have more stuff, actually.
There's still more bits.
Apple Arcade and was a thing.
Yeah, remember when we talked about Apple Arcade?
Yeah, it came out at the same time as Google Stadia.
Well, no, they announced it around the same time as Stadia. But it's the thing that's like a subscription fee for iPhone games. iPhone and iPad games.
It's their Game Pass,
essentially.
Well, that will cost you just $5 a month.
According to reports.
According to reports when it's launched. Nothing official yet.
Right, but chances are this is probably right. And that's, you know what? That's the right number. Yeah. I don't think you could probably ask anybody to spend more than $5 a month on mobile games.
I don't think so.
I think this is a smart number.
Call it $50 a year. You'll have the exact same concept. Let's see. We also have Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, and Yakuza 5 will be coming to the PlayStation 4 as part of the Yakuza collection.
Yes. This, a 1080p HD upgrade for the PS3 era of the Yakuza games, I think that's what these are.
Yeah.
They were PS3 games originally. So these are just upgrades of those, and they're in a one handy bundle. So those of you who have been playing the remakes of 1 and 2, the Kiwami games, this will pick up right where you left off.
And lastly, our last bit of bits news here.
Yes.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt
for Switch.
Complete Edition coming to the Switch on October 15th.
Or as people are calling it, Switcher 3.
Switcher 3, that's good. We knew this was happening. This was announced during E3, but we get a release date of October 15th later this year. Hey!
I hear, though, that, of course, as being a Switch release, it has taken a major graphical hit and will not perform as well as it did on the other consoles. So buyer beware.
I wouldn't expect it to.
Buyer beware, just in case, but
because you're basically saying that, hey, the Switch is more powerful than when it was put on the PS3. Or
that was a PS4 or Xbox One game.
Yeah. You're saying that the Switch is as powerful as those, which
it's not.
It's not. No.
Yeah,
Let's see here. Any other bits of video game news you want to
really, besides that, it was a bunch of trailers, a bunch of gameplay was shown off of different assorted games.
I noticed you don't have all the backlash that Apex Legends has been getting.
No, because it's kind of reporting on those games that go on forever thing. Like, if we wanted to cover those beats, we would have to talk about it every week.
Well, can I at least mention that Apex Legends tried to get people to do a special, like, black iron birdwing helmet thing.
Yeah.
And, like, cost more than, like, $100 just to get it if you hit everything perfectly.
That matters to people who are playing Apex Legends a lot, but not for a broad audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, I believe NBA 2K, whatever we're at, 20?
20.
NBA Live 2K20 will be out this... it's out this week for early release. Next week, I think...
That is on EA Access?
Yeah, out next week for the wider audience.
Cool.
I've seen some people start playing that on...
Oh yeah, they announced a bunch. I saw they did announce the new features that will be in NHL 20.
Yeah.
The next hockey game. So, yeah, sports games will continue to happen.
Yep. Other than that, what do you think of Gamescoms in general?
I didn't really follow it much. It's hard to follow because the U.S. outlets don't do as much reporting on it.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of why I gathered it like I did, was because it was like bits and pieces.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Last thing, apparently, Cyberpunk 2077 may or may not have multiplayer.
Yeah, it seems like they're investigating like mode, kind of like Witcher's Gwent. That will be a multiplayer hook into it, but they're trying to figure out what that's going to be.
Unknown.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Okay, we need to wrap up here.
Yeah, this has been an extra big 2-hour show. Again, second 2-hour show of the season, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be it for the Media Boat Podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you saw, please tune in to us when we go live on Wednesday nights. Go to youtube.com. Search Media Boat Podcast. You can find our page. Please like, subscribe there. Click the bell to get notifications when we go live. We typically go live on Wednesday nights around 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, so tune in then. If you want to hear us just our voices, though, you can also have that in podcast form. We can be found in most podcast services like Apple Podcasts. Just search Media Boat Podcast and you'll find our feed. You can also find us on social media. On Twitter, we're at MediaBoatCast. On Facebook, search Media Boat Podcast. You'll find our page. Like, comment there for feedback about the show. We appreciate it. If you want to give us other feedback or ask questions or just give comments or feedback about, like I said earlier, about stuff we haven't watched or seen or played, please email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. We will check out any emails that are sent there, so please consider emailing us. You can help us with money, because it does cost money to host podcasts, by donating over at patreon.com/mediaboat. As little as $1 a month can help us out greatly, and we'll get you potential cool stuff down the road if you become a patron. So keep that in mind and consider donating today. Last but not least, if we're playing video games such as Mike's playthrough right now of Madden 20 with the face of the Sanchez.
The Sanchez here.
That continues on twitch.tv/mediaboat. Go there if you want to watch us when we play video games live.
Last bit of gaming news I want to say. Get your fantasy teams going. I have 2 drafts this weekend. The start of the season is 2 weeks away.
Football is happening.
Yeah, it is. But that will do it for us here.
That'll do it for us. So if you enjoyed what you saw, please give us feedback, and we will see you next week.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week with even more thoughts on 4 potential albums next week.
A lot of stuff. Too much stuff.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, anything else in streaming? Any comments?
I think we covered everything.
All right, we're good. Thank you all for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.